Response video to some of what Nick was talking about. He was using that word, that horrible word, entrepreneur, as if it meant something good. And like that's the source of capitalism, which is really bogus. The whole concept of capitalism is the capital part. Who owns the incentive value? And I would argue that the incentive value that any system has to work on, I mean, the idea is that you have to have some surplus somewhere to basically pay people to do something into the future that will produce some new stuff, some new value stuff. But you have to have stuff to do that. You have to offer somebody stuff to do work that might produce future value. And so the nature of capitalism is that that investment stuff is owned not by the people or by the government doesn't provide the incentive stuff. It's provided by these capitalists who expect to make money on their lending of surplus. So they have a silo of extra wheat. They use that extra wheat to basically bribe people to do work for them, and then they make a profit off of that work that creates some sort of value. And that's how the game is played. It doesn't really have anything to do with entrepreneur. It has to do with who owns the surplus, who has value to negotiate with the future employment, who has the value to encourage the work of tomorrow that will produce value for all of us. And he calls the value for all of us wealth, which is kind of bogus, because wealth is basically the excess profit. Wealth is the surplus. It isn't just all the value. Wealth is a certain kind of value that's created, a kind of value that's reconverted into another extra silo of wheat. But there might be lots of wheat created through the process of the ism, whether it's capitalism or socialism. The ism might create a lot of value that's consumed by the workers, by the people, that doesn't get converted into an extra silo of wheat, but gets consumed by the human beings attempting to exist. So it's not about this wealth creation, it's about satisfying human need. And not all human need can be satisfied efficiently, anyway, at a profit, at a wealth creating, with wealth creation as the incentive. And so these entrepreneurs through time, they really, yes, they've done some innovating, but they keep trying to extract such a huge profit for their work. Nick uses the past. And I think he perverts the example. The example of the past is you didn't have this copyright. You didn't have this idea that you come up with something and you hold a right to it forever and ever, and everybody's got to pay a tax to your prodigy forever for some bullshit you thought up with in the bathroom. That you didn't have to do any real work, And now we have an industrial society that sort of maximizes the potential for that entrepreneurism, because what we basically do is pay people to think, to come up with ideas. All right, to come up with this camera was invented by lots of people, lots of engineers doing their jobs and doing a very good job. And the idea that it's some kind of entrepreneur who did this is a pile of shit. It was a bunch of entrepreneurs called human beings, called citizens, who did their fucking jobs and didn't expect to get paid $1 million for it. So it's just such bullshit to use this stupid word like entrepreneurs are the source of wealth. They're the source of inefficiency when they extract too much value for their sometimes minor contributions. If we were still paying the ancestors of the guy who invented the round wheel, we'd obviously have a very inefficient society. We'd be 1,000 years behind in our progress because of the value he'd keep extracting and the investment that would be denied because people would be wasting their time serving his prodigy, polishing their toenails in their fucking bullshit Hilton mansions and such. It's just a stupid argument. Sorry, Nick, but god damn it! You say, I don't want to be called a capitalist, and then you throw a word like entrepreneur, like they're the engine of progress. In the last 100 years, men doing their jobs have been the engine of progress. They've done the inventing, the innovating. Bill Gates came up with a way to rent an operating system. He didn't write an operating system. He didn't make an operating system. He rented one to a corporation. That's the extent of his gigantic contribution to mankind. And it's a shitty contribution. But lots of engineers took that operating system over time and developed it into a product that almost works now, at least with XP. So in 15 years, they finally got it right. But anyway, not the perfect example, but there's lots of examples, lots of things accomplished by mankind that didn't require any entrepreneurs. I'm sure the guys who engineered the Hoover Dam didn't all become billionaires. No, not all millionaires. No, they're just good engineers who did their job, did a great public service to mankind. And all this miniaturization and all this stuff, this technology we've been given, lots of good engineers doing their job, figuring out a better way to do something, and doing it for a salary, not for a $1 billion payoff. So fuck you and your fucking entrepreneurs. God damn. They are not the source of wealth or value in our economy. They are parasites, period. Damn. Alright, enough wing running. Alright, a little calmer add-on. Oh, it really does get me worked up. Anyway, this whole idea, this romantic notion of the past, where we paid $9,000 for a hat or a pair of shoes. Like a pair of shoes was like a 3-year investment. Let's save up for 3 years so we can buy a pair of shoes. I mean, come on. Mass production is a great thing. That efficiency is brilliant. All we need to do is spread it around. We need to spread around the production, locate it rationally and sensibly to maximize the efficiencies of the geography, not the efficiencies of desperate human beings. And that's what happens with capitalists. It's their bad vision that is blighting us. And these entrepreneurs of today are the scum of the earth. I mean, yes, corporations suck, these big multinationals, but there is a huge efficiency in them, even with all the parasites sucking value out of them. But these little entrepreneurs are the ones who come up with all these little rackets, this thieving and marketing scams, and make $10,000 a month working at home. All these rackets out there. Come on. This romantic notion that these entrepreneurs are inventing the penicillin is just such a pile of goddamn shit. They're not doing us any favors, these entrepreneurs and their schemes. As educated inventors, like I said, and there's a huge efficiency in organizing people and giving them an assignment and having them accomplish it and create a better product. Put the task before them. Throw the car in front of them and say, do better, make a better one. That's a great way to do human business. But these selfish assholes aren't going to, they're going to want too much value out of it. Everybody who has an idea, they'll put the project in front of them, and every guy who's got an idea says, oh, wait a minute, but if I leave the corporation, now that I have figured out this little trick, I can go make money on my own, Somebody's stealing from everybody. Everybody's thinking about their own goddamn interest and nothing else. You look at Google, it's a disgrace. A university math project gone horribly wrong. once had the ambition to be a non-commercial alternative to the corporate model. And what did they become? The biggest corporation in the world, manipulating and gaming us all, putting any kind of prospect of competition, in the drawer, gone forever. It's their way or no way on the internet now. You can't finance anything any other way. You gotta be part of their system. It's disgusting what we're stuck with because of these parasitic entrepreneurs. Oh, really, Nick? Fuck you. You really have shown your allegiance to the entrepreneurs. Jeez, really? Oh, I'm not a capitalist. Bullshit. You're right up their fucking ass. You're licking their kidneys. Fuck you.